Welcome to the show today, folks. My name is Philip, as always, and let me just say, you don't need any of this fancy gear to play the guitar. You don't need electric guitars and amplifiers and all this stuff there. All you need is a guitar. Alright? And if it inspires you to get playing, go grab one and start playing today. If you can. If you don't want to play the acoustic guitar, don't buy one. You know, it's kind of recommended that you learn on this and then go to this after. But if you don't like this and aren't going to be inspired to play by it, then don't buy an acoustic. Buy an electric. Get yourself a cheap amplifier. You know, there's these little ones here. I made this one here for $18. You can look at the show for that. You know, so you don't need this fancy stuff that I'm going to show you here. All right? It's just making a preference. But for those who are interested in going, what you got going on here, Philly boy, I'm going to walk you through the pedal chain setup, how this is hooked up. It looks like it's all hooked together, and it kind of is, but I like to, but it's also not. So I'd like to kind of break this down into at least three areas, right? So I've got a preamp section here, which is going into the front end of my amplifier. I've got my loop section here, which is going through the effects loop of my amplifier. And then this section here is what I call my rhythm section, and this is a drum and bass machine, and this is a looper, and this foot switch controls these two devices. And then so let's start off at the beginning. The signal comes in here. This is an ABY switch, so it's got two outputs, and then it can combine them as well. And then it has a separate output for my tuner, and I like this tuner. It's got a nice big display on it, and it's very quick in its reaction. It seems to be pretty accurate, and it was kind of a budget tuner for this setup. So my signal's coming in, and I'm splitting it, as I just said, in two paths. So one's going up into the recording path, and we'll get back into, the rhythm path here. We'll get back to that in a second. My main guitar signal's coming out here and coming into my compressor. The compressor is stereo, so it has two outputs on it. So the guitar signal comes through the extortion pedal. This is kind of just shaping my sound. It's not really adding gain to the signal. It's just kind of shaping the tone a little bit before it comes out of here and goes down into my amplifier here. So that's what's called into the front end of the amplifier. And so once it's processed through the amplifier's preamp, okay, the amplifier sends a signal through its effects loop. So that effects loop is here. Here's the send. So it's going through here, through the burst pedal, through the POG 2, and then through my Memory Man delay pedal. And then it's returning back to the amplifier. So that signal is after the amp, is the phrase used, or it's in the effects loop, right? So it's not affected, these pedals here are not affecting my original signal. So that's the pedal train in a basic nutshell. Now, why do we have sound? Because the amp's not on, Phil. Because that's coming out of the PA system here. So the guitar is also hooked up to my PA system, okay? And there's actually several inputs going on to this PA system, so I'll run you through the first one. The first one is the stereo split signal that's coming out of the compressor here. And that's coming right up to a high Z input on channel 1 on my mixing board. And then there's also a dry direct output signal with an XLR cable on it coming out of this extortion pedal, so that's coming up to this channel. The amplifier itself has a direct output from it, so once I turn that on, it'll be sending a DI signal to my mixer again, and that's this channel here. And then lastly, we'll get to that recording section. So as I said, my dry signal, or my guitar signal unfiltered, comes into these two devices here. So this Trio is a band creator, as it says. It puts bass and drums along with the accompaniment you've played into it. So I will make a demo of this video of this pedal, you know, more specifically. But I've already put a little 3-chord thing in here, and I'll turn it on. So there's tons of different genres. You can just have bass, just have drums. There's tons you can do with this pedal. So that's coming up into my PA system. This does have a signal output that goes to a guitar amplifier that's been optimized for a guitar amplifier, but you really don't want this muddying up your guitar sound, right? You know, ideally you want this coming out of a separate source, right? So just turn that off for a second. And then, you know, beats, I guess, like that, I record into my looper, and I can change this foot switch operates both of these. It's hooked up to this one right now. So I can go up and down on my loops here. This is a great looper. It's stereo as well, so that's why there's 2 signals coming out of it. So I think, so there's just a bass line that was created by this. Sorry. And then that's the drum line that was created by this. And the 33 is the combo. So that's how I get my kind of backtracks going. So that's coming into this channel here. And of course I can adjust all the volumes on these channels, but rock this puppy out, which I will do at the end of this video, I promise. Just showing you all this stuff here and how it's hooked up and how I do my thing. And it's just as much for my good as it is for yours, because yeah, I'm new at this. It took me a while to figure it out. I never really used an effects loop properly before. My vintage Marshall didn't have one. I've had this amp for several years, but I wasn't on to pedals and stuff, and I've gotten back into it there now. So the most important, I guess, aspect of that I could mention is that if you put pedals like this into the front end of your amplifier sound, or of your signal, of your guitar signal, it can start to confuse things and mess things. So the delay is a perfect example. This is got a chorus to it as well. So it's modulating the signal even before it hits the amplifier. And you don't really want that, right? You want the amp to create a nice clean sound, and then you're adding these after, if that makes sense to you. So I think that's enough yapping there, Phil. Let's get on to some sound tests and playing. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. Welcome back, folks. Got everything hooked up here for you. Just give you a sound test what it's like just with the PA system. On that single coil here right now. On the neck pickup. Let's turn on the amp for you. It's just a little bit louder, but when I put gain to this amp, it'll really pop. A little bit of compressor on there, that's with the compressor off. Compressor kind of cleans up your signal and just lets the good parts through, right? Setting right now. If I do a specific song, I'll adjust the delay, timing, all that stuff. There's a little bit of some pog here for you. This thing really changes the sound because it's an octave generator. also set up kind of like a tremolo bit right now. Seeking advice for people that you know, I mean, if you're watching shows about this stuff and you know you're watching, most advice will tell you like, well, you know, experiment, move stuff around, try different things, right? You know, there are some kind of rules about it, but you know, again, it's your rig, you do what you want with it, right? You know, so what else? Put a little bit of background there for you. That's a little sound test for you anyway. I'm going to let you guys go on to your day and have some fun with this. Love and peace from Canada. We are YouTube.